Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, lately we've been showcasing a plugin called Divi Image Hover Effects, and it's sort of got these great image to text hover effects. Got some wonderful effects going on here. I think you get about 250 of them. And right now, I'll put the link below the video. They've got a deal on this, is $15 instead of $15. Represents great value. Like I say, you get about 250 of these hover effects here, and they're really good. They also do an image swap effect that's great also. But Divi's come such a long way. Nowadays you can actually make a few of these without a plugin, and we've been doing that. And so today we've done sort of slides and fades and what have you. Today we're going to do a spiral in. So we've got another image that when you hover, it sort of spirals in just like that. So let's get started. First thing I want to do is enable the Visual Builder. Once enabled, let's go down to where we want to work. It really doesn't matter. I'll put a new row in right here. And let's put in, well, I guess I'll put in another row of 2, make it nice and big so you can see what's going on. Okay, and for the image that we want to appear when it hovers, I'm just going to add an image module. Divi comes as standard with all of these modules, plenty enough to build just about any site. If you've got WooCommerce installed, it'll give you another 12 modules to sell your products with. And the one we want today is the image right there. Now this is the image that's going to appear when we put our mouse over it. So let's just grab that one. And now we'll set the image that'll be displaying when the mouse is not over it. When the mouse is over it, it's going to show that image. When we're not over it, we want a different image. And to do that, we have to set an image for the actual column of the row we're in. Green container is a row, or green tab I should say is a row with 2 columns. So what we want to do is go into the row and give our first column a background image. So we'll go into the green tab for the row, go into our first column, column 1, column 2. I'm going to slide down on the content tab to background, and I'm going to add the image that we'll have displaying when we're not hovering on it. So add background image. I think I used this one last time. Okay. So you can't actually see it, but if I save these and get it back out of here, we've got this image, and now we've got an image of some vegetables behind it. Now we don't want to see this phone image initially, so let's go in there and take care of that. So I'm going into the module, the image module itself, the dark tab. I'm going to go over to the design. Let's move this over here so you can still see the image. I'm going to go down to filters. And to make this not appear, I can simply take the opacity or the see-throughness down to 0 when we're not hovering on it, so it'll disappear. But before I do that, I also want this thing to spin when we put our mouse over it. So before I make it disappear, I'm going to set it to the position that I want it to spin from, and then when we put our mouse over it, to spin to. And to do that, let's just close up this filters for a moment. And we're going to go down to transform just below it. First one, scale. So when we're not hovering down, I'm going to take it down a little bit in size. So when we hover over it, it grows to this size, but we want to start it off a bit smaller. So I'm using the first tab, which is scale. I'm going to go up to the arrow. This is common to all Divi modules. If they've got an arrow when you hover over the legending there, it'll give you a desktop state when your mouse is not on it. So when we're not on it, I want it to be 75%. Yeah, about that size. I've got that link highlighted with that. It'll do both sides at the time. And I also want to rotate it when we're not hovering on it on desktop mode. Let's take it to about 180, basically upside down. You can fine tune with your little buttons down there. Okay, and then when we hover over it, of course I want it to be back to normal. Great, and I also want it to be the correct size, which is 100%. So I'm just going to go to our hover, which we're on, 100%. Fantastic. Now we can go up to our filters and make it invisible when we don't want to see it. So again, we'll go down to our opacity. There's the little arrow. So when we're not hovering over it, we don't want to see it. So opacity 0 or totally transparent. That's when we're not hovering over it. When we are hovering over it, hover, we want it to be totally visible. Just like that. Fantastic. And you might also have noticed when I hover over it, it's got that number 2 there. That's the actual title of the image. Now if you don't want to see the title of your image when people hover over it, you can go to Advanced, to Attributes. There's the 2. Just delete the image title right there. You can put in an alt text if you want to. Alt text is really designed to describe the image that's there, but a lot of people use it for SEO and put in keywords and geolocation stuff. Put in whatever you will there, but like I say, the real use for it is really to describe the image. Alright, so we set our different hover states. Now we need to decide on the time it takes, because the default is going to do all this in 300 milliseconds, which is about 1/3 of a second. For me, that's a little too slow. So let's slow it down a bit. Still on the Advanced tab, we can go down to Transitions. And there's the transition duration, the amount of time it takes to fade out and spin and do what have you. I'm going to take mine up to around a second or thereabouts. 1200, that's fine. I want it to start straight away. I don't want to delay. And I'm going to use ease in and ease out. Play with these speed curves. They do slightly different things. Use what works for you. I tend to use ease in out most because I like the effect. So I believe we should be good to go. Let's save our changes. Save the page changes. And exit the visual builder. And let's go down and see what we've got here. Okay, so there's the image that we wanted displayed initially. Let's hover over it and our new image should spin in and grow. Fantastic. And that's working absolutely perfectly. But there's one thing I don't like about it. When it's growing and spinning in, you can see those corners of the square coming outside of our background image there. I don't want that. If you want that, fine, just leave it as it is. I want anything outside of this square to be not visible, so it's just spinning within this image here. To do that, we just need to add one little line of CSS, and I'll put this below the video, and you're welcome to copy it and use it if you want to. To stop this happening, we've got to tell the column, now remember the column is where this image of the vegetables is, that we don't want to see anything that's overflowing the column. So let's go in there and just write a quick bit of CSS and we're done. Okay, let's go down there. Now let's go into our column. Remember, it's a green tab for a row, and inside the green tab we've got 2 columns. It's our first column we're working on. I'm going to go over to the advanced and I'm going to write one little line of CSS. Like I say, I'll put this down below. You're welcome to copy it, use it if you wish. I'm just going to say overflow hidden semicolon, and that should stop anything outside the column there from being seen. So let's try it. Save that again, save the row, save the page changes, exit the visual builder, and there we go. Let's go down. Now when I roll over it, those corners should not spill outside of the square that we've got there. There we go. To me that looks a little more interesting, or it sort of looks a bit more unique without those corners spilling out. And that's a nice little horror effect. If people are sort of rolling down your site and they spin over something like that, it's going to draw their eye to it pretty quickly. So I hope you've enjoyed that and found it useful. If you have, please ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.